Are you afraid to discover what really happens behind closed doors at a celebration? Tonight we unravel the chilling tale of Palawan's cannibalism horror, a story that will make you question every feast you've ever attended. In rural Palawan, Philippines, a 2004 wedding feast twisted joy into horror. Guests arrived expecting happiness, never imagining the darkness that awaited them. As lanterns glowed and music played, a terrible secret was taking root. The festive atmosphere masked a growing unease. The horror wasn't lurking in the shadows, it was being served openly, hidden in plain sight. The very food meant to unite became a source of dread. This story begins with a party and ends in deep, unsettling dread. Sometimes the most terrifying horrors hide in plain sight. Narra, Palawan, a paradise of beaches and jungles, where the land meets the sea in a breathtaking display of nature's beauty. In this quiet corner of the Philippines, life is simple and communities are close. On July 17th, 2004, the village gathered for a wedding, a day of joy and tradition. The bride, radiant in her simple dress, was the beloved daughter of Eladio Baul. Among the guests was Benjie Ganay, a 47-year-old farmer. The air was thick with music, laughter, and the aroma of roasted pig, lechon. Children darted between tables while adults mingled, sharing stories. Yet as the sun dipped lower, ominous clouds gathered overhead. Benjie Ganay, weaving through the crowd, was unaware of the impending change. Eladio Baul would soon find himself at the heart of an unimaginable story. The bonds of community and tradition were about to be shattered. The wedding, meant to unite, would instead divide the community. No one suspected the horror that was about to unfold. As dusk settled, the stage was set for tragedy, forever changing Narra's story. As night fell, the party grew wilder. In the chaos, Benjie Ganay accidentally bumped into the bride, a minor incident, easily forgotten. But Eladio Baul saw it as a grave insult. Fueled by anger and alcohol, he and his sons decided Ganay had to be punished. The celebration became a cover for a sinister plan. Ganay was swiftly abducted, dragged away from the lights and music. No one noticed his disappearance amid the revelry. In a secluded spot, Eladio's rage exploded into violence. Ganay, once a guest, became a captive. He was stabbed to death by men he'd called neighbors. The murder happened just beyond the party's edge, joy and horror separated by only a few meters. The sounds of celebration may have been the last thing Ganay heard. His death was only the beginning. The ultimate horror was yet to come. After the murder, Eladio Baul and his accomplices faced a grim decision: how to hide the crime. Their solution was monstrous. They dismembered Ganay's body in the darkness. Using coconut leaves, they built a fire and roasted the remains. The scent of burning flesh mingled with the wedding feast. Then, in a final act of depravity, they served the cooked flesh, pulutan, to the unsuspecting guests. Laughter and music continued as people unknowingly ate the victim. The host had become a monster, feeding his guest to his other guests. The wedding, a symbol of union, was desecrated beyond imagination. For a time, the secret stayed hidden behind smiles and celebration. The feast had become a nightmare. For 8 days, Benjie Ganay was simply missing. His family's worry grew and the community's suspicion turned towards the Baul family. The festive memories of the wedding soured into fear. Guilt, or fear, finally broke one accomplice's silence. He confessed everything to the police: the argument, the abduction, the murder, and the cannibalistic feast. The story was so horrific, officers struggled to believe it, but the confession unlocked the full horror of what had happened. The missing person case became one of the most notorious crimes in Philippine history. The pact of silence was shattered. For the confessor, it was a desperate search for relief. For the community, it was the start of a waking nightmare. The gruesome truth was finally out. With the confession, police pieced together the chilling details. The suspects had methodically roasted Ganay's body over coconut leaves, serving the flesh as part of the feast. The liver was singled out as a dish, and one suspect, Grisly, was forced to eat it raw. This act of forced cannibalism revealed a ritualistic, dominating cruelty. The guests, happily drunk, ate the meat, believing it was pork. The idea that it was human flesh was unthinkable. The psychological impact on the community was immense. The crime scene was not just where Ganay died, it was the entire wedding, now tainted forever. Police, led by Senior Superintendent Virgilio Lazo, faced an unprecedented investigation. The guests, once innocent, were now victims of a horror they could barely comprehend. The truth was more disturbing than anyone could have imagined. Police moved quickly, searching the Baule property. They found a fire pit with charred remains and a blood-stained shirt, evidence that confirmed the confession. Arrests followed. Eladio Bol, his sons, and other accomplices were taken into custody. The community watched in shock as their neighbors were led away. The wedding that united them had now torn them apart. Police began to suspect this might not be the first such crime. Other disappearances in Narra raised chilling questions. The case drew national and international attention. For Palawan police, it was an unprecedented horror. The trauma inflicted on the community and guests was profound. The wedding in Narra had become a national nightmare. In 2004, the internet was already a powerful space for public reaction. Even in its early days, the web was a place where news could travel at lightning speed and opinions could multiply in real time. People gathered in chat rooms, forums, and comment sections, eager to share their thoughts and fears with strangers across the globe. When news of the Palawan cannibalism case broke, it spread rapidly online. Within hours, the story leapt from obscure local headlines to national news and then to international forums, where it was dissected and discussed by thousands. Forums buzzed with horror, disbelief, and sympathy for the unwitting guests. The digital world became a chorus of gasps and exclamations as people tried to process the unimaginable. "This is the kind of thing you read in a horror novel, not a newspaper," wrote one user. Others echoed the sentiment, comparing the case to urban legends and the darkest corners of fiction. Many questioned how the guests could not have known, debating the taste of human flesh and the effects of alcohol. Arguments flared up, with some insisting that the truth must have been obvious, while others pointed to the chaos and confusion of the event. Some wondered if ignorance was possible or if there was willful blindness. Theories abounded, with users speculating about denial, shock, and the power of suggestion in a group setting. The story became a modern folktale, a benchmark for real-world depravity. It was retold and reshaped, morphing into a cautionary tale that blurred the line between fact and myth. Online, the case echoed as a digital scream, forcing people to confront the darkest sides of human nature. The internet amplified every shiver of fear, every pang of empathy, and every morbid curiosity. The trauma of the guests became a focal point for empathy and debate. People reached out with words of comfort, while others argued over responsibility and blame, turning the case into a mirror for society's anxieties. The Palawan wedding's legacy is one of perpetual horror and unending questions. It lingers in the collective memory, a shadow over what should have been a day of joy. The internet ensured the story would never be forgotten, preserving every detail and every reaction in its endless archive, where the digital scream still echoes today. The Palawan cannibalism case left a permanent stain on Narra. A wedding meant to symbolize hope became a landmark of horror. The story was whispered from person to person, a real-life ghost story. Fear lingered, a quiet anxiety about what darkness might hide behind a neighbor's smile. Many questions remain. Was it just drunken rage or something deeper? Had it happened before? The full scope of the crime may never be known. The case is a chilling reminder of how thin the line is between festivity and horror. The guests, in their innocence, crossed a line they never knew existed. If you were offered a plate at that wedding, what would you do? You'd eat and thank your host. That simple act of trust is the most chilling part of all.